Well, today on The Garden Life, Christmas continues to unfold. Santa hasn't arrived yet, but we feel fairly confident he is on the way. So today what I want to talk about is my inspiration for this year's Christmas decor. I think I just settled on it this past week, and I want to share with you a really important muse that helped me, I think, get kind of the validation I needed on my new Christmas palette and my Christmas decor for this year. Let's talk about gifting books for the holidays. Let's talk about what I am calling the cutting board village finally turned out to look like, what some of our thrifted finds, how they evolved into something Christmassy. Well, what do you say, Stuart?
I say we do it.
Let's do it. Well, I've got a question for you. Inquiring minds and Bombas socks want to know, are you the sock giver in your family? It is one of the staple gifts that I give at Christmas time. And when I gift them, I want to make sure that they are really a good quality sock, because especially the men in my life, well, they are very, very picky. I also love a gift that's a 2-for-1. And by that, I don't mean buy one, get one free. I mean that by buying this gift, you are also giving back, because every one you purchase is one that's donated. I bought some of the gripper socks for me. I love the way I can do yoga, or I can be working on one of my apps just in my kitchen on my hardwood floors, and they've got these dots on the bottom that really grip the floor and they help stabilize me. And they're thick and they're cushiony, and I love that about them, because I'm somebody who likes to bake and housekeep in my socks. So I'm going to check out the Cozy Shop, because in their Cozy Shop, for yourself and for your loved ones, they have some that are merino wool that really make you love wool. I mean, not the scratchy kind. They have cashmere ones for those in your family that really like a little bit of elevation to their life. And then they also have these fuzzy socks that, well, they just make you feel comfortable and warm and cozy, both inside and out. They really are a purpose-driven company. They make the #1, the #2, and the #3 most requested clothing items for homeless shelters, things like socks and underwear and t-shirts. So I really encourage you to look at this, something that for the holidays will make you feel and your loved ones feel good inside and out. Well, here's a no-brainer tip, but I think it's a good reminder to all of us. Every year, you can mix it up. You don't have to do the same thing year to year. What may have been beautiful last year, well, it doesn't demand that you replicate it this year. We all probably have enough holiday decorations to go around. What you use in one room might be reinvented in another room. What you use one year, you might not want to use the next. So don't feel as if your holiday decorations are bossing you around. You be the boss of your own holiday decor. Well, if you're like me, you have all sorts of tear sheets from different magazines. It might be on a Pinterest board. You might have a whole collection in Instagram of images that you've saved for inspiration. This year, as I was going through my big, bulky December file of Christmas tear sheets, Christmas inspiration in general, I realized that I was really gravitating to all of the reds this year. Last year, it was all about blue and silver and turquoise and things in the parlor, and maybe a little bit in my kitchen. But this year, I just found that it was this very cheery, very holiday-ish, rosy hue that just was capturing my attention. And I began to think, you know what, just because I did something last year and I absolutely loved it and it was beautiful and I will miss it if I don't do it this year, nevertheless, my creativity really needs to manifest itself, and this year I'm just going to do things a little bit different. You may recall that in the last video I talked about how Christmas was going to unfold this year rather than just explode in one fell swoop. So this gives me time to really think about what I want to do, how I want to express this color palette in my home, and different unique ways that I could use it in the kitchen, in the parlor, and in other areas of my house. Let's take a break here and I'll show you what I mean. Well, Stuart, let's do a rewind. Back to Christmas of 2023, my first full Christmas here at the cottage. And let's show some images from how my mantle in the parlor was decorated last year in all of those icy blue tones. A completely different vibe than what I've got here. And one of the inspiration images from my file of tear sheets was this beautiful image.
The paint color on the wall.
On the wall, well, those are, yeah, on the stairs are that same kind of that deep red. Well, this reminds me of my former home, but it also, I think, really captures that same kind of sensibility and feeling that I got when I watched that movie. And so out came the damask stockings, which last year, Stuart, do you remember where they were hanging last year? They were hanging on the towel rack in my bathroom.
Oh yeah, I remember shooting that.
Well, now they are here because I really want this hue to carry through from the parlor and into the kitchen. Now, what that means for my Christmas tree this year, I don't know, because last year it was all in silvers and blues and turquoise, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I have plenty of time this month to decide on what my final tree will look like and how this color will express itself in my parlor for Christmas of 2024. So let's take a look at the kitchen and see how this same kind of aesthetic carries through into my kitchen space. Well, come on in and check out my Alpine cutting board village. This too, now that I think about it, was also inspired by Scandinavia because my bestie Deborah was there year before last and she brought me back lots of these hand-carved little wooden Christmas trees, and I have since added to my collection. But I just think they really resonate here in the corner with the wood tones of the cutting boards and, well, I don't know, kind of like a mountain elevation scenario going on here.
Oh, sunset.
Yeah, the whole business. Yeah, there's the little village. Scale on some of this stuff might not be exactly correct. But this is one thing I did last year that I definitely wanted to repeat this year because I liked it so much. I also think it's something that will really be fun, whimsical, and frivolous for the kiddos when they come to greet me. I need to definitely get some of my Christmas treats to have on hand for when they come by. And I love the blonde tones. Last year, I got this sweet little blonde wood nutcracker.
Coming your way.
Coming my way, and I can't remember where I got him.
I love the plainness of it.
I do too. The simplicity of it, and it's all in that same kind of color hue. And then here is my little thrifted village, Stuart. It's been decorated some. This might get changed around a little bit when I get more cut greenery and things, but I think it looks pretty cute, and I think it kind of continues the vibe of my little wooden village. It makes me happy to look at it. I love the little.
I was about to point that out.
Yeah, the sweet little wreaths. And by the way, this is another Christmas tip, I think. Not that you guys haven't already intuited it, but quite often when I look at my different ornaments, I don't necessarily want to hang them on the tree where they're just part of kind of a overall Christmas blob on the tree. I like to separate them out because I think each individual little ornament has a story to tell, maybe from its provenance, where you got it. You may have been traveling and you brought home a Christmas decoration, but also the story that's implied by the Christmas decoration. So anytime I see a tiny little wreath, I think of a tiny little village, and I think of it hanging either on a chimney or on an archway going into someone's home. And these are pine cones that kind of simulate Christmas tree in here and just some embellishments here that I've had for years. They have been spray painted with gold, and even that gold, that hint of golden gilding on them has begun to fade and burnish over time, and I really love that. In fact, I kind of like, if I do say so myself, the way this all came together. It will be a happy baking corner. Even my wooden utensils and my brass measuring cups and brass utensils kind of all match the vibe that I've got going here. And then a little bit later, now don't judge me by the messiness of my drawer, you guys. But Stuart, when you come over here, yeah, this is my baking drawer. And I am going to be replenishing it with fresh supplies, cleaning it out, and getting ready to press it into service for all the holiday baking. Something else that I did was, as Stuart has already showed you, I've put out my Spode china to use on a daily basis. In fact, in my house, I like to use it more on a daily basis than I actually do for Christmas. Yes, it's a little bit cliche, but I don't care because it's nostalgic to me. It reminds me of growing up. It really reminds me of my second mom, and it's hidden away all during, well, the other 11 months of the year. So why not let it shine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and on your own tables through the holiday season? Okay, if you have followed my channel for any length of time, you probably recognize this pot-bellied bowl. I got it while thrifting. It was $5.99.
And we've seen more of them around since, right?
And we've seen more of them around since, but I think this is going to be where I keep the goodies for the kiddos that come by and are always kind of now expecting a little bit of a treat from me. So it might be filled with candy canes. I'm thinking it would look great with those confectionate sugar, are they called Mexican white wedding cookies? I think that would be fun in here. Anyhow, lots of just little treats from the kiddies when they come by, because I don't have any kiddies of my own yet, but one can dream. So here's my question of the day. If you were me, what would you put in here to treat the little kiddies when they came by? Well, in thinking about why I was so drawn to those red tones, I came up with maybe an answer. A very influential movie that I watched the other night. It's a brand new film. It came out, I think, on November 29th. It's a Norwegian film, so it will have English subtitles. And the name of it is The Snow Sister. It was breathtakingly beautiful. What can I say? The cinematography was fabulous. The two kids in it were just wonderful. The storyline was, a little bit okay, but nevertheless, it is worth watching just from an eye candy standpoint. And the reds that were in that movie, well, they were just muted. They were crystalline, they were gauzy, they were Scandinavian, they were absolutely beautiful. And I think that in my subconscious, that red color kind of embedded itself. And therein lie the inspiration, I think, for a lot of my color muses throughout the cottage for Christmas. So it's really, really fun. I encourage you to watch it. I don't think you will be disappointed. Something else that's really inspired me this year, and that is another Scandinavian concept, and I'm going to butcher this, so I'm just going to apologize. I'm just going to apologize right now. If you are from Scandinavia, please, or Iceland, please let me know how you pronounce this word. It's actually an Icelandic term called Jólabókaflóð. You got that, Stuart?
I got it.
You got that, Stuart.
I can't repeat it, but I got it.
Yes. And the inception of this practice was that paper was one of the few things that wasn't rationed during World War II in Iceland. And so they would, gift a lot of books around the holidays, and particularly on Christmas Eve. And that evolved into just a wonderful, charming practice of everybody reading on Christmas Day side by side while sipping a warm beverage. Nothing sounds more hygge, nothing sounds more cozy to me than that. And in fact, when my son Johnny was growing up, and even still, it's one of his favorite things to do. And that is where we are all together in front of the fire with some kind of delicious beverage, and we are all reading in unison side by side. And I just think nothing is more charming, and thank you, Iceland, for coming up with that concept. So consequently, people will be getting books from me for Christmas, and whether we all read together or not, definitely it will channel the spirit of that wonderful Icelandic practice. Well, speaking of reading, I think I have done more reading this past month than I have done in years, maybe because I have more time, and truly it is a luxury to me. And that's, I think I mentioned to you, was that yesterday, that I asked Hubs for a Kindle for Christmas, and they're on Cyber Monday now. I started to say Black Friday, but now it's Cyber Monday. I'm sure they're still on sale. So if you want a Kindle, we'll put a link. We'll put a link right here. Now, what I love about reading, whether it is a novel, whether it is some kind of nonfiction, or whether it's one of my beautiful decor or gardening books, is when one type of book leads me to another type of book. And it's one of the reasons that I'm going to show you again The Slow Down by Leanne Ford. I think I told you that it's beautifully written. It's much better at storytelling than so many other decor books. And I also mentioned, I believe, that I love the fact that she references Elsie de Wolfe in this book repeatedly. And that inspired me to do a little bit more of a deep dive into Elsie Wolfe. And I bought her The House in Good Taste, Elsie de Wolfe's book on interior decor, off of Amazon. And you guys might want to do it, might want to order the same thing. It is very, very inexpensive, but it also shows you that certain, I think, decorating principles were true back then as they are right now. So I want to share this one passage with you. It was the first passage I read when I opened it, and it really speaks to my Thanksgiving transforming the parlor into the dining room. And she writes, a light, gay dining room. First of all, I think a dining room should be light and gay. The first thing to be considered is plenty of sunshine. You think we've got that, Stuart? Sure. The next thing is the planning of becoming background for the mistress of the house. The room should always be gay and charming in color, but the color should be selected with due consideration of its becomingness to the hostess. Every woman has a right to be pretty in her own dining room. Okay, that is just a little golden nugget of a treasure that you will find in this book by Elsie de Wolfe. I am eager to learn more about her. I think it'll be fun. It will be simultaneously nostalgic and practical, and I can't encourage you enough to take a look at both of these books. And also, this, The Flower Hunter. I have really been referencing this a lot. Actually, she's got several books out. Lucy Hunter, this is The Flower Hunter. And she's got several books out, and they just are wonderful. They give you wonderful ideas for how to use things that you would cut from your own garden in sometimes unique and unexpected combinations. So I would encourage you this year, if you are looking for some tabletop books, some coffee table books to gift friends and family in your own life, that these are some of the ones that I would highly recommend. Well, Stuart just walked in the great room and he said, boy, this looks like a room that is getting ready for Christmas. And indeed it is. While Hubs is gone, I've got the luxury of being able to just schlep these up from the basement, set them down, go through them, get rid of some stuff, and I don't really care if there's a lot of mess in here right now. In fact, it's kind of a happy mess because I can watch Christmas movies and things in front of a roaring fire while I am going through each one of these bins. Now, here's a question for you. Obviously, I have lots of stockings. I have blue versions, I have damask versions, I have needlepoint versions, and now I have these wool net versions from Nepal. I absolutely love these. I got these on deep, deep discount, I think from Terrain last year. And yes, I need them like a hole in the head, but I love these so much. I think they're so fun, and I think they just look magnificent in this room. Now, where they will be hung, I'm not 100% sure, but that's just one of the things that was new to me that I bought last year on sale that it was fun for me to unpack this year. Okay, I've got another question of the day for you. In terms of holiday motifs, Stuart, think about your answer to this question too. In terms of holiday motifs, the motif of a stocking, the motif of a Christmas tree, the silhouette of a wreath, or the angularity of a star, in terms of decorating and just your kind of visceral response to all of those different shapes, which one is your favorite? Which one do you just kind of instinctively feel drawn to?
Christmas shape.
Christmas shape. And this is for you guys too. A wreath, a tree, a star.
Snowman.
Okay, a snowman could be that too, but it doesn't snow everywhere.
That's true.
Or a stocking. So let me know your thoughts. I know what for me is the motif I am especially drawn to, and that is, well, we'll come back in a minute and I'll tell you. Okay, speaking of stockings, look at this mammoth.
Gigantic, yeah.
Mammoth stocking that I got last year. I bought it secondhand from an antique store. And then here's all of the blue stockings that are in desperate need of ironing or steaming that I had in front of the parlor last year, all in these blue icy tones. I think they're really, really wonderful. Oh, and look, Stuart, look what I found in here. Obviously, I had some garden gloves in one of the stockings. This reminds me that I wanted to share a tip with you about Cool Jobs gloves, because I've gotten some inquiries. You told me that when you wash them, that sometimes they really stick to one another. They get sticky and they stick to one another. And mine have done the same. Not all versions of Cool Jobs gloves, but some of them. So here is what I do when I wash them. And that is, these are brand new. So imagine that these are muddy, dirt encrusted, weedy, and filthy. Okay, so when I bring them in, I just kind of hose them down in my sink. I give them just a good rinse first to get off all of the really big chunks of mud and muck. Then when I'm going to wash them, I put them in one of those mesh washing machine bags, and I turn them kind of inside out like that. And then I put them in the mesh bag.
Like halfway, like you're doing?
Like halfway, like I'm doing. And I have found that indeed they get clean enough, they get washed well enough, and they don't really stick together. So try that, see if it works for you. It works for me, at least in my washing machine, and it will help, it'll just help keeping you from having sticky fingers. Well, there are other holiday motifs, of course, motifs and shapes like these darling little angels. Angels would be another one. I guess bells would be another one. But in terms of the four that I shared with you, okay, drum roll please, Stuart. Which one are you most viscerally drawn to? The tree, the wreath, the star, or the stocking?
For me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I it's probably the tree.
The tree?
Yeah, it makes me feel nostalgic, I guess.
Okay. Well, for me, Stuart said he guessed for me it was also the tree.
I would guess.
Actually, not. Over the holidays, I could not even put up a tree and take delight in all of the other things, especially the stockings. But most importantly for me, the wreath. I absolutely love the wreath shape. I love the circularity of it. I love the quality of the infinite about it. I just love its symbolism. So for me, a wreath is definitely the motif that I couldn't live without. I would probably over the holidays, I would have a wreath before I'd have a tree, maybe even multiple wreaths.
You do have wreaths all year long.
Yeah, I do, and that you hang in your windows. And Stuart, right here, why don't we put some footage of what the wreaths look like hanging outside, illuminated for the holidays. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. It definitely is getting to be Christmas here at the cottage, and obviously Christmas in your own homes. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to subscribe, to follow, and to share with your loved ones. It is you doing those things that makes it possible for Stuart and I to continue to put out this kind of content. So, happy December 1st to all of you, and we will see you with more Christmas ideas in the coming days.